A long, long time ago, there was a kingdom blessed by the gods. The king and queen loved each other deeply, but they remained childless for a long time. Their devotion moved the heavens, and the queen ate a magical rose, and finally gave birth to a little princess. On a day of nationwide celebration, her fairy godmother and 12 mages appeared, bestowing blessings upon the princess. You will have noble virtue. You will have unparalleled beauty. You will have the voice of a nightingale. She received all the best things a little girl could be blessed with, or so it should have been. She was meant to have all the most wonderful things in the world, until a love led her into a deep slumber. That is the story people tell. Do not come near this place. Do not come near this place. 700 years later, the kingdom once blessed by the gods had fallen, drowned in hatred and curses. This place is now teeming with vengeful spirits and demons, and a princess who has been sleeping soundly for hundreds of years. It is said that she possesses a lovesick heart, still waiting for a prince to awaken her with true love's kiss. In that dark and demonic place, the incessant, ghastly caw of a crow echoes. But that kingdom is already dead. So what? Aren't there still plenty of treasures there? Alternatively, we could just divide up her lands. Stealing those treasures is far more practical than having a princess. Your Highness, what is your choice? In the darkness, a terribly dangerous smile appeared from beneath a wide-brimmed hat, just as the sleeping princess finally awoke. After a slumber that lasted for several hundred years, Rosemary opened her eyes and slowly sat up, taking in her surroundings. She murmured in astonishment, "Me, I." But beside her there was no prince she had been waiting for. Her face filled with horror at the sinister atmosphere. Is this hell? Was everything stolen from the prince? And our story begins when the sleeping princess Rosemary finally awakens. The beauty who slept for 100 years. The first prince arrived at the ancient castle of Andres. Do you wish to awaken the princess with a kiss, or take the treasure? The shadow asked him. The first prince replied, I want wealth, endless riches. With that, I'll have a mighty kingdom, and countless princesses will dream of marrying me. Then will you take this ring? The shadow offered him the ring from the princess's hand. With this ring, you will have an endless fortune that will never run out. But in exchange, you must offer me the purest of souls. No problem, my friend. The prince laughed gleefully as he accepted the ring, and it immediately glowed with a deep crimson light. Asterisk, asterisk. Chapter 1. The Princess and the Pea, the Kingdom of Satival. On a fiercely stormy night, beneath a sky pouring rain like a waterfall, Rosemary stood in a long, black cloak, and turned to the fool beside her. Is this the place, hon? He quickly responded. That's right. This is the first kingdom we've come to. Rosemary's gentle voice murmured softly. It seems this kingdom has the prince I'm looking for. At that moment, inside the magnificent and splendid palace, melodious music was playing, and the nobles were lost in dance. On the banquet tables laden with delicious dishes, 2 small wine glasses clinked together. Sitting on the dazzling throne, the prince of the kingdom, Prince Satival Grimmer, angrily propped his chin on his hand and said, The prince of the kingdom, Prince Satival Grimmer, angrily propped his chin on his hand and spoke. Peas, peas, it's peas again. Don't we have anything more delicious in our country? Emperor Sativo, sitting beside him, quickly reminded him, Grimmer, don't forget that peas are a blessing from the heavens. Without them, our country would have fallen into ruin long ago. Hearing his father's words, Grimmer suddenly gave a sarcastic smile. That's right. As long as we have those peas, we'll just get stronger and stronger. All right, even if it's just putting on a show for the people, we've been enduring this for years. To break up the tedious conversation between the father and son, the queen of the empire clapped her hands gently and summoned all the beautiful princesses from far and wide. As is customary, all right, Prince Grimmer, look. Many new princesses have made their debut this season. You must choose carefully and keep the one who is a true princess. This is Princess Angel, sweet and adorable. She will surely be a gentle and virtuous wife. That one is Princess Lisa. I hear she's the type all men adore. And this is Princess Emma, who has just entered the palace. Along with the queen's introduction, that Princess Emma hurriedly lifted the hem of her skirt and approached Prince Sativo. I am the one the prince is looking for, the true princess, your highness. Please choose me, I beg you to choose me. I don't want to go back. Despite seeing the panic in her eyes, Grimmer only gave a cold smile. He stood up angrily and bluntly brought down a kick down on Emma's beautiful dress. A true princess? Don't kid yourself. A true princess would never kneel so easily. Faced with Prince Sativo's ruthlessness, Emma's face flushed red with tears. The prince returned to his seat and declared, I'm so sick of this. I'm tired of looking at these girls. Bring in a new batch. This is dragging on forever. The emperor looked at him worriedly and called out his name, Grimmer. The queen also helplessly lowered her head and let out a troubled sigh. If we can't find the true princess, then what will become of our nation? A thought suddenly flashed through her mind. This tradition cannot be broken. Before the grand palace doors, 2 people approached slowly. one behind the other. Rosemary slowly raised her hand and knocked on the great palace door. The sound was soft, but it was enough to startle the guard, asking, "Who's there?" It was Han who spoke. "Is anyone going to open the door? We've come to see the Emperor and the Prince." The guard raised his oil lamp and tactfully refused. "It's late, and the weather is so terrible. What a hassle. Can't you come back another day? Go home." That familiar voice rang out from behind the door again. "We are from the nation of Angest." This time, he was truly. By Rosemary and Han. "You've completely worn out my patience. I don't care who you are, this gate isn't opening today, so scram." Han wanted to say something more, but he was stopped by Rosemary on her horse. "That's enough, Han. All this rambling is so annoying, we're just barging in." Just a few minutes later, a knight suddenly burst into the palace, right in the middle of a grand banquet. "Your Majesty? Your Majesty, we have a problem." Noticing his urgency, the Emperor immediately asked, "What is it? What's all the commotion?" "It's an outrage." His face darkened as he pointed behind him, signaling that outside the palace there was a woman. She charged straight in on horseback. Hearing this, the Emperor's tense expression eased a bit. A woman charged in on a horse? Grandma, who was sitting beside him, propped her chin on her hand with a bored expression. "It's probably just another girl dreaming of being a princess. We're already overflowing with them here, a whole bunch of useless ones. How can you not handle a single woman? Why haven't you dealt with her already?" The indignant knight was about to head back outside, when a loud explosion left him speechless. But that woman, she..." The explosion not only filled the banquet hall with thick dust and smoke, but it also made the fake princesses look around in annoyance, and wonder, what in the world is going on? At that moment, Rosemary and her sleek black horse entered the center of the hall. A cloud of smoke that had yet to dissipate, like a flash of blood in the dead of night, she commanded in a cold voice. "Move it, you're in my way." That princess was like the Grim Reaper herself, appearing right in the middle of the grand hall. Rosemary's voice was a low growl. "Who here is the prince?" Seeing her overwhelmingly noble aura, Prince Sativa was stunned for a moment, his eyes wide. This woman had just blown the main doors wide open. A few seconds later, Han also ran in from outside, carrying a large sack on his back. "Princess, wait for me. I don't have a horse to ride." He suddenly lost his footing, stumbling for a moment before face-planting on the floor. The astonished Emperor stood up. "You. Who are you?" As light as a feather, Rosemary leaped off her horse and repeated her question. "Answer me. Where is the prince?" The queen, standing nearby, immediately ordered the knights. Such insolence. "Guards, where are the guards?" Very quickly, the knights, with swords in their hands, surrounded the two of them, but Kramer loudly rescinded the order. At the same time, he took the initiative to approach her. "Everyone stand down! A princess, yes, that's it. You are the princess, and I am Prince Kramer. And you are?" Only then did Rosemary finally raise a hand to pull back her hood, revealing an exquisite and mysterious black dress. She slowly placed a hand on her chest and introduced herself. "My name is Rosemary, the princess from Angess. That idiot over there is my servant." When she pointed at him with that not-so-flattering nickname, Han could only scratch his head in embarrassment, thinking, "What?" Seeing her appearance, the confused Emperor walked over. "Princess, if you are indeed a princess, why are you dressed so shabbily, and why are your manners so crude?" Prince Sativo completely ignored his father's words and extended his hand. He offered an invitation to Rosemary. "Princess Mary, may I have this dance?" She curtsied in agreement with the utmost respect. It would be an honor. At that moment, the queen was standing in a secluded corner and watched the two of them. She thought to herself, "It's quite strange. If you say she's not like a princess, then how is she so beautiful?" And her etiquette and performance of the court dance were flawless, absolutely impeccable. What a strange woman indeed. After they finished their dance, Kramer slowly placed a hand on his chest and invited her to stay at the palace tonight. "Beautiful Princess Rosemary, please, you must stay at the palace tonight so we can offer you our finest hospitality." Hearing his words, Rosemary couldn't possibly refuse, but her empty stomach was absolutely starving. "Finest hospitality? In that case, I have no reason to refuse. Is there any food?" In the middle of the grand hall, those three other young ladies were indignantly watching the couple's every move. The queen gently approached the Emperor and whispered to him, "Ha! The prince is the same as always. It's raining heavily tonight. It would be best to have the princesses stay here for the time being." Her suggestion made the Emperor furrow his brow and question her. "What do you mean by that?" She continued to conceal her face with her exquisite fan and explained to the Emperor, "We'll use the same old method to determine who the real princess is." Just then, outside the magnificent palace, heavy raindrops began to fall, creating a steady patter. A palace maid led Rosemary and Han to a room that had been prepared for them. "Princess Rosemary, this is your room." Stepping inside, the sight of the glittering room left Han completely stunned, and he exclaimed, "It's so gorgeous. Are these gold decorations real gold?" Rosemary was also very pleased with the layout of the room. However, the one thing she cared about even more was, the room is decent enough, but what about the food? Hearing her question, the maid rushed out of the room, shouting, "Ah, yes, of course, bring the food right away." Soon after, a lavish banquet was served, but as soon as they saw the dishes, Pan's expression soured. Boiled mung beans, fried mung bean soup, mung bean cakes. This doesn't look very appetizing. Why is almost everything made of mung beans? This is giving me a headache. In stark contrast to his look of disgust, the maid proudly explained to Han and Princess Rosemary. You see, our kingdom of Sadiwell is very famous for its mung beans. Mung beans are the main staple of our meals. It is said that long ago our kingdom was very poor. We suffered from droughts and were unable to grow crops, until one day, a prince of ours brought back a treasure. Everyone prayed devoutly before the treasure and made offerings. Finally, one day, green beanstalks sprouted from the impoverished land. Hearing part of the story, Rosemary turned to look at her. The people had food, and their lives improved, the maid continued, detailing the treasure. What kind of treasure is it? I've never seen it, but it's said to be a ring. They say only the true princess can wear this ring, bringing endless wealth to the kingdom, so the prince is always searching for the true princess. That's right. There's also a very beautiful garden of green beans behind our palace. Rosemary nodded gently a few times. If you have time, princess, you could go take a look. After speaking, the maid respectfully bowed, and then left the room. Both her and Han's empty stomachs began to rumble loudly. He placed a hand over his chest and let out a huge sigh of relief. Okay, dismissed. Ah, finally! I don't have to pretend anymore, I'm starving to death. Princess, let me check the food for you first. But Rosemary completely ignored Han's words. She just started wolfing down the green bean dishes on the table. Is the princess already digging in? I'm starving to death. It's been 3 days. 3 whole days. I can finally eat a full meal. When he realized this, he no longer tried to stop her hasty actions, and instead quickly found a pristine white napkin. I also never expected there to be not a single living creature around Andres' castle. Eat slowly, don't rush, there's plenty more here. At least use a fork. Han's advice had barely left his mouth when Rosemary shut him up with a piece of food from the table. She said hastily, "Han, hurry and eat. We'll finish all these dishes, then find a way to take the rest." Because his mouth was full of food, he could only think to himself, all of this? Rosemary suddenly leaned in close to him, her tone growing frighteningly serious. We're out of money. Not a single coin left. Every meal from now on has to be rationed to last for 3 days. Han covered his mouth and thought in confusion. Isn't that because the princess insisted on buying that horse and cannon? A few minutes later, the table overflowing with green bean dishes was picked clean, and he uncomfortably made his way to a corner of the room, trying to keep himself from throwing up. I really can't take this anymore. After finishing her delicious dinner, Rosemary went on to enjoy the warm water in the palace bathroom, but when she stepped out, she truly couldn't help but praise the place. You know what? The bathtub here is made of solid gold. It's so luxurious. Even Andres' castle back in the day was never this extravagant. Seeing Rosemary, still busy drying her hair, Han quickly rushed over to lend a hand. You came out before your hair is even dry? Geez, you'll catch a cold easily that way. She slowly began to speak, addressing his action. There's something I've been meaning to tell you, Han. It's been less than a month since you came here with me. I don't think we're close enough for that, are we? Don't get so handsy. Rosemary's remark made him instantly snatch his hand back from the towel on her head. Han's face flushed red as well. Ah, sorry, I did that out of habit. He panicked, thinking, crap, I forgot the princess isn't a kid anymore. To break the awkward silence between them, he gestured to the bed and said to Rosemary, The bed has been prepared. Please get some rest, princess. This big, gold-trimmed bed must be so comfortable. This kingdom really is rich. Seeing Han preparing to leave, she asked him curiously, Where are you going? He quickly answered, I'm going to ask where my room is. Huh? Rosemary thought for a moment before suggesting to Han, I have a bad feeling about this kingdom, so just to be safe, you'd better sleep in here with me. His face, which was already flushed, became even more noticeably red. What? Sleep with the princess? But there's only one bed in here. She slowly sat on the... But seeing how hard you've worked this whole time, I suppose you've been obedient enough. I'll allow you to sleep very close to me tonight. Hearing this from Rosemary made his heart flutter with excitement. Is the princess really going to share her bed with me? Thank you, Your Highness. But a moment later, she shattered Han's happy delusion. Rosemary pointed to the floor and said, Sleep here. Faced with this, Han could only laugh bitterly and reply, What was I even expecting? So, princess, may I ask why I became your servant? Rosemary, lying on her large, warm bed, slowly replied, You're the one who volunteered to help me find the prince. I have no need for any creature by my side except a servant. Hearing her say this, in Han's eyes, a great deal of worry suddenly appeared. The prince here is certainly dashing, but princess, you should be a little more reserved. Prince Grimmer's attention was all on you, and I saw Princess Lisa looking so mad she was gritting her teeth. Noticing that he mentioned another name, Rosemary looked over at him curiously. You're quite observant, Han. Are you into that type too? He quickly turned away to hide his embarrassment. Of course not, I'm just doing my job. She wasn't in the mood to probe any further, so she just said, then hurry up and go to sleep, you talk too much. With that said, Rosemary became lost in her thoughts. If I can be certain, that ring is the one I lost, then Prince Grimmer must be the prince I'm looking for. Seeing Han already snoring away peacefully, Rosemary thought to herself, he fell asleep in an instant, such a carefree puppy. The next day, as the warm morning sun began to shine all over the palace, the princesses who had been at the party the night before were gathered in the palace garden, enjoying delicious tea and sweets. Noticing the rather quiet atmosphere, Princess Angel decided to break the ice. The sun is shining after the storm. Good morning, everyone. Did you all sleep well last night? The first to answer her was Princess Emma, who was sitting right next to her. The beds here are so comfortable, I slept like a log all the way until morning. Even though they're both just peas, the food here is way better than at my house. It's really touching. In stark contrast to the harmony between those two princesses, Princess Lisa, in an exquisite black dress, suddenly slammed the table and stood up to declare, "This is the royal palace. You should all watch what you say. Let me make this clear. Prince Kramer is definitely mine, and I'm the one who will become the crown princess. I hope you all know your place." Lisa's furious and aggressive demeanor made Princess Angel let out a soft chuckle and add, "But at last night's ball, His Highness the Prince didn't even spare you a single glance. In fact, he danced several songs with that red-haired girl. What a shame." Angel's subtly provocative words made the anger inside Lisa boil over. What? What are you trying to say? Are you looking for a fight?" She just calmly placed a hand on her chest and replied, "I don't mean anything by it. I just wanted to remind you that we all came here for the same reason. No one is more noble than anyone else. I also want to become the crown princess, and I have no other choice. And I won't lose either." At this, the expressions of the other princesses grew tense. Lisa raised her voice. "What would you know? I still have 2 younger sisters back home. Damn it, this is all that red-haired girl's fault, barging into the palace, dressed in rags and acting so crude." Her rude words just so happened to reach the ears of Rosemary. She calmly approached the tea table and asked, "Were you talking about me?" "Good morning, princesses. My apologies for being late. My clumsy servant got us lost in the castle." Han, who was beside her, also looked extremely apologetic. Seeing her arrive, Princess Emma greeted her warmly. "Oh, it's no problem. Please have a seat." Lisa, on the other hand, showed no such kindness and shot her a contemptuous glare. Angel looked up to greet Rosemary. "Good morning, princess. You don't seem to be a native of Sativo, are you?" In response to Angel's question, she nodded honestly and replied, "Of course not. Otherwise, how could one country produce a whole table full of princesses?" Han subtly reached a hand toward Rosemary as if to stop her from saying more. "Princess." The princess's conversation continued. Angel looked at her and asked, "So you don't know about the trial for the princesses in this country?" Rosemary replied respectfully, "I'm all ears." Hearing this, she began to explain the custom in this country of Latina. To choose the one true princess, every year, all the girls who come to the palace must undergo a trial from Her Majesty the Queen, though the exact details are unknown, but it's said to be as simple as spending one night in a certain room. This detail made Rosemary immediately curious. It's just sleeping for one night, but for all these years, not a single princess has been able to pass the test? What happened to the ones who failed? Based on what she knew, Angel gently set her teacup down and added, "Some say they were sent home. Some say she was kept in the palace as a handmaiden, while others rumor she was exiled. Who really knows? Because becoming a princess is every girl's dream, everyone came here." As soon as she said this, Emma's expression suddenly turned grim, and she started shaking her head in panic. "Go home? No, I can't. I can't go home. If I'm not chosen as the princess, I'd rather be exiled." Lisa's demeanor, on the other hand, remained as strong and determined as ever, no matter what the test was. "I will definitely pass. Tonight, the first one among us will take the test, right?" Princess Angel excitedly placed a hand on her chest, filled with honor. "I am so honored to be chosen as the first princess to take the test, and tonight I will sleep in the room arranged by Her Majesty the Queen." But upon learning this, Lisa couldn't hide her surprise and shot up from her seat. "What? Why do you get to be the first one?" She just offered a mischievous smile in the face of that aggressive attitude. "My apologies, perhaps I'm just lucky." But Lisa simply couldn't accept this, so the two of them quickly fell into a small argument. "No, I don't accept this. I'm going to see the Queen. It's useless. The goddess of victory is on my side." Seeing the two of them clashing so fiercely, Emma quickly stepped between them to mediate. "Please don't fight." In that cutthroat atmosphere, Han slowly leaned in and whispered in her ear, "Princess, look, the tension is so thick you could cut it with a knife. Shouldn't you do something to ease it? Say something to calm them down." But Rosemary completely ignored Han's whisper. She continued to enjoy her hot cup of tea, and just a few seconds later, she looked up, brimming with confidence. The winner will be me. Han felt helpless, not knowing what more to say. The princess then boldly declared to the other three princesses, "Although I'm not particularly interested in becoming a princess, I have my own reasons for needing to pass this test, and I hate to lose." Princess Angel replied to her with her usual ethereal grace. "It seems I'm not like the rest of you. I've even dreamed of living in a palace like this and becoming its mistress. I have trained so hard for this very moment, and now is the time for my dream to come true. Well then, everyone, I have finished my breakfast. I wish you all a good morning. I'm going to prepare for the test now, so please wish me luck." Not long after, Angel had to enter a pitch-black room to begin her test. The door to the large palace room was quickly shut. The next day, the queen announced to the three remaining princesses. Unfortunately, Princess Angel did not pass the test. Upon hearing this news, the first person to react was Lisa. "What? At the same time?" Han also rubbed his chin in confusion, muttering to himself, "That fast? So she's been eliminated already?" Rosemary, however, was concerned about something else. "Where is Princess Angel?" The queen smiled warmly and replied, "She has already left." "So, which princess will take the challenge next, now that Angel has failed?" The one eager to start the challenge was, of course, Princess Lisa. I'll go. It's my turn. No one can take it from me." She smiled, looking very pleased. "Very well, then, Princess Lisa, please get ready." Emma suddenly came over and grabbed Rosemary's arm, a fearful look on her face. "Princess Rose, Mary, I don't feel good about this. I have a bad feeling. I'm a little scared." To reassure her, she replied, "I'll go first next time." "If anything seems wrong, you must run immediately," Emma asked. "Run? Where could I possibly run to?" Rosemary looked at her with a determined gaze. "Run anywhere. This world is vast. You are free." Han exclaimed, "These peas are so beautiful, it's truly worthy of being called the Pea Kingdom. Tonight, Princess Lisa is taking the challenge. I wonder what the result will be. Why are they so obsessed with becoming a real princess?" "Sigh," Rosemary replied, "because they aren't princesses, but everyone tells them that becoming a princess is every girl's dream." "What?" Han was surprised. "Not princesses? Princess Angel, Lisa, and Emma? No wonder I always felt something was strange." "Sigh," Rosemary continued. "They are just ordinary girls from the countryside. In order to become a princess and live the life of one, they were sent to the palace to try their luck. Even if that seemed like the only possibility, I guess the royal palace must have given their families a lot of money." Han then asked, "What about you? Why are you looking for a prince?" Rosemary's gaze fell. Princess Rosemary said nothing and just stared into the distance. "I don't know exactly what happened to her over the years, but her eyes were exactly the same as when I first met her." The scene changes to another place. A voice speaks up. "You want to go to Ackler? I haven't heard that name in a long time. Young man, I advise you to go back home. That place is completely dead. It's overgrown with thorns, with bones scattered everywhere, shrouded in death. For dozens of miles around, you won't find a single living creature. All who dare to venture into that place never return." "Sigh," he said. "Sir, I'm looking for the sleeping princess." The old man burst out laughing. "Ha ha ha. It's true that there is such a princess in the legends, but only a prince's true love's kiss can save her. But several hundred years have passed. Why hasn't she woken up yet? Some say the sleeping princess has turned into a demon, and that she devours every prince who comes to save her." Han's face went pale. "How could that be? No way, don't talk nonsense. What a jinx." But when I arrived at the ancient castle covered in black thorns, Han got angry. "Damn it, these thorns really won't let me in." Just then, an axe suddenly appeared, chopping away at the thorns. That's when I saw her again, the one who broke through the thorns in the darkness and walked towards me. Her red hair in the pitch black was like a dying flame. Han rushed over to catch her. "What happened? You're here, are you all right? You were covered in injuries." She just kept repeating over and over, "Prince, Prince, where is my prince?" The look in her eyes then was the same as it is now. "I just don't get how I ended up as her servant," Han muttered. "Whatever, I'll just roll with it." Just then, Sativo walked up. "Ah, Princess Rosemary. How are you enjoying your time here? Isn't our sweet pea garden lovely?" She replied. "Thank you, it's very beautiful." Sativo kissed her hand and continued. "Not at all. In my eyes, no matter how beautiful these sweet peas may be, they aren't even a fraction as lovely as you." Then he turned to Han and said, "Hey, servant boy, you may leave now. I'm going to show her something special." Seeing them hold hands, Han couldn't help but get angry. After walking for a bit, Rosemary turned to ask, "Are the sweet peas in here any different from the ones outside?" Sativo quickly replied, "Heh, my dearest princess, this is our little secret. I'm only showing this to you because you're someone special." "Hey, look at this!" Peas tumbled one by one into her hand. Rosemary picked one up and asked, "Is this gold?" Sativo replied, "That's right, it's gold. A gift for you. Those ordinary peas are just for the poor, to look at, This is the true secret to our nation's wealth. Rosemary couldn't help but be surprised. The peas are made of solid gold? Sativo replied. That's right. This is how wealthy we are, princess. If you stay by my side, all of this gold will be yours too. Even if you use it all, they will never stop growing, an endless supply that can never be exhausted. Isn't it wonderful, my queen of the Sativo kingdom? Lisa was led to a room and invited inside. Princess Lisa, you just need to spend one night in this room. The door was quickly opened, and she stepped inside cautiously. As she walked, Lisa thought to herself, no matter what happens, I can endure it. I must win. Anita, Jace, wait for me. She slowly reached for the small dagger she had hidden at her thigh. Meanwhile, Prince Kramer and Rosemary were having a secret meeting. As you may have already realized, those tests are nothing more than a way to give a few commoner girls a chance to dream. But you're different, you're special, and I can help you pass the test. Just as my mother, the queen, did before you, you will become the noblest woman in this kingdom. You can rule this country with me, this kingdom paved with gold. Then, the legendary ring will be used for our betrothal. After you pass the test, I will personally place it on your finger. That ring is a treasure I've reserved just for us. Regarding the test, you must remember, that night, do not close your eyes under any circumstances. As night began to fall, with the stars shining brightly in the sky, Han urgently called out to Rosemary, Princess, what is it? Where are you going so suddenly? She strode hastily through the dark palace corridor, stating her purpose bluntly, I want to find Lisa. Han scrambled to keep up with Rosemary, feeling confused. But didn't the princess? Is Lisa going to participate in the trial tonight? Just then, Princess Emma was hiding in a secluded corner and had also spotted her. Princess Mary didn't have much time to chat, so she got straight to the point. Emma, where's Lisa? She slowly replied, she's gone to participate in the trial. But why are you looking for her? Rosemary immediately said to Emma, let's go. We have to stop her right now. Hopefully we can still make it. She still couldn't understand what was happening right before her eyes. Wait, hold on. Why are you trying to stop her? Are you just going to barge in and drag her out? But she paid no mind to Emma's warning. This is the room. Although they had made it here, Emma was still terrified. Maybe we should go back? If we get caught inside, we could get kicked out of the royal palace, and then we wouldn't be able to participate in the trial anymore. Sigh. Han stared at the wooden door for a moment and realized that it seemed to be locked. As if she already knew this, Rosemary took out a small metal pin and easily picked the lock. She pointed at the room and said to the other two, let's go. Her actions left Han completely stunned. Huh? Princess, how do you know how to pick locks? A moment later, all three of them were inside the room, where there wasn't even a single candle lit. Emma trembled, clinging tightly to Rosemary's sleeve, and whispered, it's pitch black in here. Princess Lisa must be asleep, right? Princess Lisa? Suddenly, Emma's foot hit something, and she jumped back a few steps in surprise. Ah, what was that? Just then, Han walked over to where Emma was standing, carrying a candlestick that lit up on its own. And then, the moment the candlelight illuminated the room, Emma's eyes widened in sheer terror. At her feet was Lisa's body, sprawled on the floor in a very strange position. Emma couldn't believe her eyes and screamed, Ah, Princess Lisa! Then, Rosemary quickly checked her body and came to a conclusion. She's been murdered. So that's what this is. She's the sacrificial offering for that ring. Her eyes widened involuntarily when she saw a dagger and a necklace still clutched in Lisa's hand. Did Lisa bring these here? Looking at the picture of three people on the pendant, Rosemary felt like she could understand the feelings Lisa had kept hidden for so long. She slowly got up, preparing to leave. It's too late now. Someone's coming. We have to get out of here. Han. But when she glanced to the side, she saw that Han had already fainted. Completely useless. Soon after, the three of them were back in Rosemary's room. Even now, Emma was still utterly terrified. She hugged her shoulders tightly and sobbed, Princess Angel, Princess Lisa, I'm so scared. What do I do? What do I do? Sigh, Rosemary gently turned to reassure her. I will take the trial tomorrow night. You should use that chance to escape. Hearing her suggestion, the tears on Emma's face froze. She looked up. Escape? But Rosemary walked over and placed a gleaming gold coin in Emma's palm. I managed to get a few gold coins for you. Here's one. You can also take my horse, ride it, and go. The servant in the room is quite kind. I'm sure she'll help you escape. At first, Emma was completely on board with this enthusiastic offer of help, but then she remembered Rosemary was still here. Thank you, but no, I can't. If you give me all those things, then what about you? Princess Mary, please escape with me. Let's stop being princesses. Han, who had somehow already finished packing, also nodded in agreement with Emma's idea. That's right. Who cares about being a princess? This place is too dangerous. We should leave quickly. Rosemary was a bit surprised by how quickly he acted. Huh, why are all your bags packed already? Then she turned, placing her warm hand on Emma's cheek and reassuring her. Don't worry about me, you sweet girl. An ordinary prince can't kill me. Time passed quickly, and another evening fell upon the palace of the Sativo kingdom, just as it had for the princesses before her. The queen led Rosemary to a small prepared room. "Welcome, Princess Rosemary. Tonight is your turn." Facing her were Rosemary and Han, standing ready by the door, but the expressions on both of their faces were not good. The queen gestured towards the bed and announced, "This is where you will rest tonight." Seeing the bed piled high with mattresses, Han quietly breathed a sigh of relief. "Phew, good thing it's been cleaned up." Noticing his reaction, the queen glanced over in confusion. "What was that?" He quickly shook his head in denial. "No, it's nothing at all." Rosemary walked over to the bed and observed it for a long time. "Why is the bed like this?" The queen looked up at the ceiling as she answered her. "There are 20 mattresses and 20 feather beds here. Don't worry, you only need to sleep here for one night." She nodded briskly, showing she understood. "Got it." Suddenly realizing another issue, the queen shot a sharp glance at Han. "Is this servant staying in the room with you?" He awkwardly scratched his head. Of course, I can just sleep on the floor." Rosemary, however, answered nonchalantly, "Whatever he wants." The queen couldn't press the issue any further, so she bowed to bid them farewell, with a creepy smile. "Well then, I will lock the room. I hope you have sweet dreams tonight." After the queen left, Han began to carefully look around the room once more. Someone died in here just yesterday, and today it's been cleaned so thoroughly there's not a single trace left. It's so creepy. The moment he finished speaking, all the candles in the room suddenly went out. Rosemary sat dangling her feet from the bed, lost in her own thoughts and muttering to herself. Prince Kramer said that to pass the test, I can't fall asleep, but if I don't sleep, I might not find out how Lisa and Angel died. It seems sleeping is the only option. Well then, good night. Seeing her just lie down on the bed like that, he really couldn't rest easy. "Princess, are you really going to sleep?" Rosemary's eyes were already tightly shut, but she still asked him in return, "What else am I supposed to do?" Han's expression suddenly turned serious. "Don't you remember what Princess Angel said? Someone saw a man appear late at night, in this very room." She remained completely unfazed by Han's foolish warning. "Just a man? What's there to be afraid of?" He suddenly climbed onto Rosemary's bed and reassured her. "This room is so dark and gloomy, and after what happened to Princess Lisa yesterday, how can I leave you here alone in peace? You sleep, I'll keep watch." His words made her open her eyes suspiciously. "With your talent for sleeping, I have my doubts." He once again darted his eyes around the room. "Princess, don't you feel something in this room? I mean, something invisible, floating around, full of resentful energy." "Ah!" Rosemary suddenly sat up, enveloped in streams of blue light. Her voice turned eerily demonic. "You mean ghosts?" Her appearance made Han scream in terror. "Ah!" Rosemary quickly covered his face with her hand and scolded him. "What kind of nonsense are you spouting? How rude. Only by getting to the bottom of this can this ridiculous test finally be over." She already hated sleeping, and now being disturbed made her even more awake. Han smiled gently at her. "Can't sleep? How about I sing you a lullaby?" Rosemary asked him, confused. "A lullaby?" He nodded and began his gentle tune. "Hush now, go to sleep. Go to sleep, my precious darling. Mother's gentle hands rock you to sleep in a warm and peaceful cradle. All the good and happy things in the world are yours." Her golden pupils stirred slightly. A thought ran through Rosemary's mind. How strange, this song. The lullaby continued to play. The faint image of a familiar little boy appeared in her mind. sleep now, my precious darling. A bouquet of lilies, a bouquet of roses, all for you when you awaken." Rosemary started to feel drowsy. Why does this melody feel so familiar? It's a tune that brings such a sense of peace. Just as she was about to drift off, she realized Han had suddenly fallen asleep on her, so Rosemary gently caressed his soft hair and whispered, "To think you'd be the first to fall asleep while singing a lullaby. I should have known, you little brat." While she was lost in thought, the clock struck 12 midnight. Rosemary slowly looked up at the clock and saw the candle had gone out. A truly terrifying voice suddenly echoed throughout the room. "Midnight has arrived. Someone is asleep. It is time to enter the eternal dream. Offer your soul and body to me." Along with that voice, a dense killing intent began to fill the small room. The Grim Reaper gripped his large staff and prepared to swing, but just as the skull tip neared her, Rosemary quickly thrust a candlestick in front of the Grim Reaper. Sitting up in bed, she said bluntly, "So you finally decided to show up, huh? The one behind all this, who made a deal with a demon, using gold to lure the greedy and harvest their souls." The Grim Reaper's entire body was suddenly racked with excruciating pain. His true face was gradually revealed from behind the fading facade. The Grim Reaper slowly looked up. The moment he saw her, his gaze froze in shock. "Your Rose? The Rose? I knew I wasn't wrong." She kept the candelabra aimed at the Reaper with a hostile expression. "So it really is you. We meet again, old friend." But Rosemary continued to speak in an ice-cold tone. "The mere mention of rings and gold makes me think of you. I've forgotten so much, but the one thing. I could never forget is this hateful face of yours. The Reaper's expression briefly turned solemn. He lowered his head slightly and asked, Rose, are you awake? She quickly retorted, making sure to remind him of the crimes he had committed. Are you surprised? Not only am I awake, but I know everything you've done. Just how many pure souls must you collect before you feel satisfied, Reaper? Look at you, harvesting good people like crops to fill your empty heart, while the souls that have already rotted. You don't even spare a glance. Hearing Rosemary's incredibly harsh and unyielding words, the Reaper slowly revealed a disfigured part of his face and leaned in close to her. I don't understand. All of you were willing, weren't you? Why? I clearly gave you what you wanted, so no, don't look at me with those eyes. Look at me. Rosemary suddenly reached out and grabbed the collar of his cloak. I know this isn't your true form. Go back to where you belong. I can't kill you right now, just as you can't kill me. I will recover my memories and remember how to destroy you. I will find you and make you pay for everything. But Rosemary was no longer living in a dream world. The moment she let go of the Reaper, he gradually dissolved into smoke and vanished completely in a matter of seconds. Why does the thing I desire most bring me the most pain? In those shattered memories, I lost the thing called love. Seeing her sitting there silently in a daze, Han couldn't curb his curiosity and had to ask, Princess, are you all right? Who were you talking to just now? Rosemary didn't answer him. She just sat blankly facing the window, contemplating a life where only hatred remained. The day to announce the results of this test had finally come. The next morning, the Queen entered the room looking utterly astonished. Princess Rosemary, you're awake. Prince Sativo appeared with her as well. Oh, my Princess Rosemary, but it seems you didn't sleep very well last night, did you? Clutching the thin robe on her shoulders, she slowly turned to respond. That's right, I couldn't sleep a wink all night. That bed was not comfortable, but a different thought was running through Rosemary's mind. No matter what lie I tell, I can't drag out this ridiculous charade. Upon hearing her answer, the Queen looked very satisfied. She broke into a wide smile, walked to the bed, and pulled out a small pea from beneath the thick mattresses. I knew it. Only a true princess has skin so sensitive that she can feel a single pea under 40 mattresses. The Emperor joyfully announced the result. Indeed, you are the true princess, Kramer. At last, you've found the true princess. Our kingdom can continue to flourish. The prince slowly placed a sweet kiss upon the back of her hand and whispered, Princess Rose, Mary, let us be engaged. I love you. A pea under 40 mattresses. There's no way anyone could feel that. Yet, the royal family continued to celebrate joyfully. Congratulations, Rosemary, congratulations. From this day forward, you are the true princess. But in her eyes, their beaming smiles and cheerful chatter were utterly meaningless. These phonies in their golden masks, with their fake twisted smiles, declaring the winner of this game. It's utterly nauseating. Soon after, a stunningly elegant and magnificent white gown was delivered to Rosemary. She stood solemnly, observing the gown for a long moment. Prince Kramer sent the engagement gown. It's quite magnificent. I rather like it. I bet it would fetch a handsome price. Han, what do you think? The moment he heard her question, he reacted with indignation. Princess, are you really planning to get engaged to that Prince Grimmer? In the face of Han's outburst, Rosemary's expression remained perfectly calm. I'm the one getting engaged, not you. What's the rush? He rushed forward and firmly grabbed her shoulders, pleading with her. Marriage is not a game. You don't know anything about Prince Kramer. How can you make such a monumental decision so casually? Did you travel 1,000 miles to this kingdom just to marry some prince? But his passionate reaction truly piqued Rosemary's curiosity. Han, do you really care so much about who I marry? Han's face instantly flushed at her question, but he stubbornly tried to justify himself. Well, regardless, I object. But Rosemary had no desire to argue with him further. She gave a direct order. Stop deluding yourself. It's not up to you to agree or disagree. Now, go pack your things. Confused, Han stood frozen for a moment. Pack for what? She didn't answer him directly. Instead, her gaze drifted into the distance, toward the vast, starry sky. The sky is clear tonight. The moon is bright and beautiful. A perfect night for an engagement. Help me take care of the small fry. It's time for us to begin our next journey. Shortly after, in a palace garden where fireflies flickered in the twilight, Rosemary, draped in her beautiful engagement gown, awaited Prince Kramer. Suddenly, a sound echoed nearby, drawing her attention. Prince Kramer, dressed in his usual formal attire, approached Rosemary step by step. His tone, as sweet as ever, was unchanged. My dear Princess Mary, why did you wish to have our engagement here? Oh my heavens, that gown is absolutely perfect on you. She had no interest in such trivialities and got straight to the point. Did you bring the ring? He gently took her soft hand and slid the precious ring onto her finger. Of course, my fiancé. Look, my love, the ring is exquisite, like the eyes of death itself. Wear this ring, become my wife, give me an heir, and you will truly become one of us, just like my mother. The moment the red ring was placed on her hand, it emitted a deep crimson glow. A flood of fragmented memories returned to their owner, rushing back into her mind. I remember now, about this ring. After a few seconds of not getting a response from her, Kramer noticed an unusually strange coincidence. It's a perfect fit. It's as if this ring was custom made just for you. How could this be? First, Rosemary calmly raised the ring before her eyes and gave her hand a gentle flick. The dress she was wearing turned jet black, just like death itself. Prince Kramer, do you know? When you stare into death, death also stares back at you. The sudden transformation of the engagement dress made Prince Kramer stumble back a few steps in fear. His voice became a stutter. Wah! What is this? Why did the gown turn black? And then Rosemary sank into a fragment of her memory. Ever since I woke up, my mind has been hazy and chaotic. I could remember many things, but I had completely forgotten every memory related to him. But now I remember. This is Death's left eye, his promise of love to me. At that thought, a moment from long, long ago sparked in her mind. On a beautiful day, under the green canopy, Death sat beside Rosemary and gently stroked her soft hair. You have beautiful hair, like a sun that never sets. Rosemary also looked over and praised him. Your eyes are also very beautiful, like rubies glowing in the dark night. Upon receiving her compliment, Death's eyes suddenly lit up. Do you like them? Without waiting for Rosemary's answer, Death reached up and easily plucked out his own eyes. He quickly transformed them into a ring and placed it on her ring finger. I give it to you. In this land separate from life and death, this will be the proof of our happiness. You will never be able to leave me, ever. Back then, I heard that vow and didn't realize. That beautiful dream was a cage he had painstakingly built for me. Returning to the present, Rosemary caressed the ring in her hand and mocked herself. But that doesn't matter anymore. I opened that door with my own hands, and now I am here. I've come to take back what is rightfully mine. Hearing her continuously utter such bizarre things, Prince Kramer hastily grabbed Rosemary's shoulders to calm his own terrified spirit. My fiancé, stop joking like that. Go get changed. Tonight is our engagement ceremony. Rosemary closed her eyes and nodded in response. That's right, on such an important day, I think you should invite them to witness it too, shouldn't you? The color drained from Kramer's face in utter horror. He wondered, them, who are they? She slowly raised the ring, and from it, a dark and grotesque aura began to seep out. Such a fickle man. How could you have forgotten them so soon? All the pure souls Kramer had deceived, poured out all at once, with countless different negative expressions. Kramer was so terrified his face turned deathly pale. Ah, what the hell is this? Demons, this crazy woman. Guards, where are the guards? In another part of the royal palace, the guards had been completely frozen by Han. None of them could move. After completing his task, he suddenly recognized a familiar voice. It sounded like the screams of Prince Grimmer. A hand from among the spirits was gripping his sleeve tightly. Kramer hurriedly offered the most soothing words he could muster to comfort these pure souls. Ah, no, don't come any closer. All right, I get it. I remember you now. It's my fault. I'll give you a proper burial. I'll return your remains to your families. Tell me, what else do you want? But those spirits had absolutely no intention of letting him go. Even at this very moment, Kramer still thought money was his lifeline. Gold, that's right. I have lots of gold. Do you want it? I'll give it all to you, so please just let me go. Before Kramer's belated tears could even fall, Rosemary approached and stabbed him straight through. She swiftly pulled out the dagger and said to herself, See, this is the dagger that Lisa brought. So-called tradition, the so-called true princess. What you people really want is just a compliant little thing. These pure souls can make gold bloom even from rotten soil. But a filthy creature like you, if you were buried in the ground, not even weeds would grow. After that stab, Kramer's strength had waned significantly. He used every last bit of it to crawl across the ground. Let me go! What the hell do you people want? A bunch of useless trash. The unchosen should be buried underground. You should feel honored. Becoming fertilizer for the peas is the greatest value you'll ever have. It is thanks to me that this kingdom has gold, that you have money to spend, and that the nation can continue to exist. I gave all of that to you. Without me, you are nothing. Kramer's crazed laughter echoed throughout the entire palace. But Rosemary felt it was time for it all to end here. The midnight bell told Prince Grimmer, it's time to go to sleep. Realizing he was slowly being dragged down by the spirits, he still struggled to curse at her. No, help, help! You lunatic, I curse you! A few seconds later, the desperate screams stopped completely. Prince Kramer was permanently buried beneath the ground, leaving behind a hand still stained with fresh blood. Rosemary sat beside that hand, rested her chin in her palm and spoke to herself. Sleep well, Kramer. May you sleep forever beneath the earth, turn to dust and soil, and never ever be found. Just like hiding under 40p mattresses. A moment later, Hans stopped before a freshly planted row of peas. With a look of confusion, he asked, Did you do this? Where's Prince Grimmer? Rosemary, who was standing not far off, looked over at him and replied, I buried him. Don't worry about him. Let's go. As she spoke, she threw the bright torch in her hand onto the damp ground, where it quickly extinguished due to the high moisture. Then a large fire erupted, engulfing a corner of the garden. Rosemary stood silently, gazing toward the garden as if she were watching the purest of souls. The girls who came here with all sorts of intentions could never have imagined that they were merely sacrifices in a transaction, that demons would devour their flesh and blood, and death would take their souls. Beautiful lives turned into nourishment for wealth and power. Your bones built this kingdom, yet someone stole that achievement, claiming it as their own. Now you are all truly free. She gently raised her hand toward the sky. The souls of the girls appeared in their true forms, as if the pain in their hearts had been somewhat eased. They all radiated the purest of colors. Han looked up in astonishment. It was those girls. Princess Angel smiled, placing a hand on her chest in gratitude for her kindness. Thank you, Princess Rosemary. Princess Lisa, who was nearby, also handed her a very important memento. Princess Rosemary, I give you my dagger. Please help me give this pendant to my younger sister. Thank you. After saying that, the souls continued to fade into the void. But Han still watched the sky with a sense of loss. They were gone, and she looked up as well, as if trying to fully understand the feelings of those girls. When I was a child, my mother told me that although there are many beings in this world that live longer, only humans possess immortal, reincarnating souls. A pure soul, though it has no form, is a priceless treasure, Han added sorrowfully. But a human's lifespan is so short, a lifetime swept away by time. Isn't that frightening? There are things that once you miss them, can perhaps never be regained. Rosemary suddenly glanced over at him and asked, Aren't you being a little too sentimental? How old are you this year? Younger than me? Han answered with a forced smile. I don't think that's a fair comparison, is it? The souls of those girls seem to have been freed. Was it because of that ring, princess? If you had a plan like this, why didn't you tell me? I really thought you wanted to get married. Now that things had come to this, she no longer needed to hide her intentions. Rosemary said to him seriously, Han, there are things I must take back, and people I must kill. My path, starting from now, will probably have no end. You've followed me for a long time, from Angus to here. It's not too late to turn back now. Han was about to hurriedly speak his true feelings. But he was cut off by the loud shouts of the guards. The prince! Where is the prince? Has anyone seen his highness? This is bad. There's a fire. Someone, put out the fire. Quick! Unable to hesitate any longer, Han immediately swept Rosemary into his arms and fled. This is bad. Someone's coming. We have to run. If they find out you killed the prince. She calmly asked him in return. Wasn't it you who did it? Han's voice suddenly became frantic. I didn't do it. She of course knew better than anyone, and just commented nonchalantly. Silly boy. He suddenly became serious, his soft voice whispering in her ear, Princess, let me come with you. I won't regret it. Because it was so noisy all around, Rosemary couldn't quite hear what he said. What did you say? Han immediately repeated his earlier declaration as he ran off with long strides. I said I will never regret it. A long while later, Rosemary and Han stood before the castle as it slowly burned to the ground. He spoke up and asked her, The prince has been punished. So what about the king and queen? Are we just going to leave them be? She answered as if she had foreseen everything. We don't need to lift a finger. They will get what's coming to them. And just as Rosemary said, the very next day, all the gold items in the palace had turned into worthless stones. The people all across the Sativo kingdom were also thrown into an uproar. My gold? Why has my gold turned into stone? No, my gold too. All of my gold has turned to stone. This was gold given by the emperor. My golden plate has turned to stone too. My gold necklace too. How could this happen? We've been tricked. At that moment, Rosemary made her way to a small house in town, amidst the frantic screams of the people from the recent uproar. Rosemary went inside the house and returned Lisa's necklace to her two little sisters. My gold! Why has my gold turned to stone? No, it can't be. This isn't real. I just received this gold coin, and I haven't even had a chance to spend it. I haven't even gotten to enjoy it for a few days. And just like that, as bad news travels fast, everyone in the kingdom marched on the Sativo royal palace in a furious protest. Come out! We demand an explanation! Come out now! King, get out here! The gold you gave us has all turned to stone. Is this how you deceive your own people? Without gold, what are we supposed to eat? I'm done with this. You people said that if we just sent our children to the palace, we would receive gold, but now all the gold has turned to stone. Faced with this situation, the emperor and empress could only cling to each other. How did it come to this? How could this be happening? The angry shouts continued without end. If you don't give us a clear explanation, don't blame us for revolting. Where are our daughters? Give us back our daughters. Those are the girls we treated like precious treasures. Rosemary continued to watch these events unfold, all of it spelling out one thing, and that was the end of the Sativo kingdom. There were some things I only understood later, Angel had once been a maid for a noble family, so she was familiar with all court etiquette. Lisa and her two younger sisters were the daughters of a blacksmith. Emma's family owned a tavern, and her father would smash everything whenever he got drunk. Indeed, they were just ordinary girls. Rosemary held Lisa's dagger in her hand. As she recounted everything to herself, she remarked with admiration, "This dagger is forged so sharply." Han, who was with her at the time, also felt deeply sympathetic. "It's a shame. I wonder what the future holds for Lisa's two younger sisters, and what will become of them. It would be good if we could help them." Rosemary. She slowly tucked the dagger away and said, "I'm glad Emma escaped. I wonder where she is now. We might see her again someday, but at least they won't be dreaming of becoming real princesses anymore. I'm tired from walking. Let's rest for a bit. We've been walking day and night without a horse. My legs are killing me." "Did you bring any food?" Han hesitantly held out a bag filled with nothing but mung beans. "Look, there are also a ton of mung bean cakes. I'm so sick of eating mung beans." Rosemary bluntly told him to throw it all away. Han changed the subject. "What's the next country?" She was lost in thought for a moment, then answered, "If we stick to the plan, heading north should take us to Brazil. It's a notoriously warlike nation that's been constantly fighting its neighbors for years." He tilted his head in confusion. "That sounds really dangerous. Do we really have to go there?" A thought suddenly struck Rosemary. "Is there a prince?" Han nodded. "Yes," and she suddenly broke into a mischievous grin, feeling that this was going to be very interesting. "Oh, so there's a prince. I wonder what he's like." Han laughed nervously. "Princess, don't tell me you're thinking." A thought flashed through his mind. That prince is in big trouble. After resting for a bit, Rosemary ordered him to find water. They were hungry and thirsty with a long journey still ahead. "Han, go find some water and food." He eagerly accepted the order. Okay. Since we're in a forest, there should be a pond or something nearby. "I'm off. I'll be back soon." Not long after, Han found himself standing before a large, clear pond. So there really is a pond here. Time to get some water. A soft rustling sound came from the nearby bushes, startling Han. He immediately whipped his head toward the sound and shouted, "Who's there?" A little fawn with big, sparkling round eyes slowly stepped out. Seeing it, he let out a joyful sigh of relief. "Oh, it's just a little deer. You're so cute. Do you live nearby? Did you come to get a drink too?" Rosemary suddenly appeared beside him. "Han, who are you talking to?" Han answered her with a beaming smile. "Princess, come quick and look. There's a really cute little deer here," she asked in surprise. "A deer?" Then she mercilessly plunged her dagger into its neck, sending bright red blood splattering everywhere. Witnessing this, Han burst into tears of anguish. The little fawn, but Rosemary paid him no mind, swiftly hoisting the fawn onto her back. "We finally have some meat to eat, Han. Come give me a hand." He couldn't bring himself to butcher the little deer. How could anyone eat such an adorable fawn? The roaring flames began to roast the little deer as Rosemary happily enjoyed a delicious piece of meat. She even turned to ask Han, "Isn't it delicious?" Although his heart was breaking, he still had to praise it. Delicious. She spoke while gnawing on the deer meat. "I really don't want to live this miserable life anymore. When we get to Brazil, I'm going to stay in a luxury hotel, buy a new outfit, and eat a lavish feast." He asked, slightly stunned. "A luxury hotel? Where are we going to get the money?" Rosemary pulled out a golden bean from her clothes, one identical to the golden bean she gave to Emma before. "Look at this," Han exclaimed in shock. "A bean? A golden bean?" She slowly brought the golden bean up to her face and examined it carefully. "Prince Grimmer gave me 2 golden beans. I gave one to Emma, and I'll use the remaining one to enjoy myself. Even though the other golden beans have all turned to stone, this one of mine hasn't." Han took the golden bean from her hand. "Let me see it. It's truly beautiful." It's hard to imagine that this kind of gold was actually created by being watered with human blood. "If we exchange the gold for money, won't those souls come to claim your life?" Rosemary's face suddenly darkened as she scared him, half to death. Because he was so startled by her action, the golden bean in Han's hand slipped from his grasp. The golden bean flew through the air for a few seconds, then plopped into the nearby pond. In that moment, Han imagined all sorts of tragic scenarios for himself. Just as he feared, Rosemary was indeed furious. She lunged forward, grabbed him by the neck, and ordered, "Get down there and fish it out for me right now." Han was so scared he started to cry. "I'm sorry, help me." It was his hopeless scream that startled a frog in the pond. It slowly emerged from the water and presented 2 different beans. "Oh, my beautiful lady, don't cry. Let me help you, my little beauty. Did you drop the silver orb or the golden orb?" As soon as she heard the frog's question, Rosemary's anger shifted from Han to it. She furiously grabbed the frog and stretched its tiny body. "The orb I dropped was the golden one. The golden one." The terrified frog cried out. "Help! Cough, cough, cough! This lady may be beautiful, but her strength is monstrous." "It's all right. This is a unique charm. I like it." Han curiously leaned down to look at it intently. "Princess, this green frog can actually talk." She gently brushed off her delicate hands. My hands are dirty, I want to wash them. The green frog continued to act cute in front of her. Beautiful lady, I can help you retrieve the golden orb, but you must grant me one condition. Because she really needed the golden orb, Rosemary had to stop and ask it. State your condition first, then I'll decide. Seeing that she seemed interested, the green frog puckered its lips and stated its condition. You must give me a kiss. Ah, a passionate, lingering, bone-deep kiss. Rosemary's expression immediately darkened, as if 10,000 dark clouds were gathering around her. She thought for a few seconds, then suggested to Han, "You go kiss it." Faced with such a proposal, he obviously didn't want to do it. "Why me?" Rosemary calmly replied with a reasonable excuse. "You're the one who dropped the gold, so of course you have to do it." But the green frog didn't agree to let Han kiss it. "No, don't come over here, I'm not interested in men," Han said nonchalantly. "I wasn't even coming over." The green frog ignored him and returned to its coquettish demeanor. "Beautiful lady, I know my appearance isn't very elegant, but I'm actually a human under a spell. Only a kiss can turn me back to my original form." Rosemary let out a sigh, resting her chin on her hand, and advised it, "You're waiting for true love's kiss? I suggest you wake up, stop dreaming, that stuff is just a scam. Putting my hopes in this is worse than just being a frog." As tears started to fall, streaming down the poor green frog's face. "I'm not lying to you. I'm a prince, my home is in Brazen, and I've been waiting for 7 years. Please help me." Hearing that name, her eyes involuntarily widened. "You said you're the Prince of Brazen?" Han turned pale, letting the frog sit squarely on his shoulder. "Oh, shut up, little frog. If you're really a prince, forget a kiss. You'll be lucky if you don't get roasted." Immediately, the naive green frog looked up and asked, "Why is that?" Rosemary slowly turned her head, revealing a terrifyingly sinister face. "Fine, I'll answer you. I want to go to Brazen. If you're really the prince there, I'll give you a goodnight kiss." Hearing this, the green frog leaped with joy. "Really? That's wonderful." But Han could already somewhat foresee its fate. "This is not good. This is really not good." But the green frog had no idea what he was saying. It leaped into the pond and resurfaced a few seconds later with a golden bean in its hand. "Here," she said seriously to her companion. "Han, take the gold, let's go." The green frog suddenly latched onto the layers of Rosemary's skirt. "Take me with you, take me with you." She furiously stomped on the damp grass. "Let go! You're so slimy! It's disgusting." But it held on with all its might. "Please don't, I'm afraid you won't come back." Han gently picked up the green frog and whispered to it, "Little frog, you have no idea what you're up against. If fate wills it, we'll meet again." The green frog desperately tried to explain. "Don't go, please don't go. I'm really a prince. I've waited for so long. I finally met a princess. I was just about to give up, but if she doesn't come back, then will I be stuck in this form forever? This is our retribution." After Sleeping Beauty 200 years later, the second prince came to the old castle. "Andres, do you wish to awaken the princess with a kiss, or claim a treasure?" the hovering black shadow asked him. The second prince said, "I want power. The power to be invincible. That way, I can have a powerful kingdom, and everyone will have to submit to me. Then you may take this clock hand." The shadow took down the second hand of the giant clock, but if you anoint this hand with warm blood, it will become the sharpest weapon, one that no army can defeat. But at the same time, you must also offer me the purest soul. No problem. My friend. The prince carefully wiped the clock hand, which pierced his finger, and dark red blood trickled out. A long, long time later, in the palace of Brazen today, a long-haired man was soaking in a warm bath. One of his soldiers suddenly burst in to report, Your Highness, terrible news." He asked, annoyed, "What could be so terrible? Unless the Empire of Iceland is invading, don't disturb my bath." Tears began to stream down the soldier's face. "The Queen, Her Majesty the Queen has passed away from an illness." Hearing this, Prince Brazen shot to his feet. "She's dead, so she's dead. Why make such a big deal out of it? That woman never liked me anyway, right? Just holding a funeral is good enough." The Queen's funeral was held very simply. Everyone planted many of the flowers that the virtuous Queen loved most. Elsewhere, Brazen approached. "Father, you're here? Surely you're not heartbroken over the Queen." The Emperor replied, "Are you kidding? She was nothing more than an old hag. Her mind hasn't been right for years. This was bound to happen sooner or later." "Brazen, have we still not conquered the Ecuador Empire? They've been very aggressive lately. It's time to teach them a lesson," Brazen then said confidently. "All right, I've been bored lately anyway. Let them have a taste of our power. As long as I have that demon sword, we'll be invincible." Just then, someone approached and asked, "Your Majesty, have you chosen a new queen yet? We have searched for the most beautiful girls from the vassal states to offer you." The Emperor spoke with arrogance. "How could women from vassal states possibly be worthy of our noble blood? But speaking of a chosen one, I do have someone in mind." Elsewhere, a pair of slender hands held a flower. It was Princess Ionette. Hearing that name, the attendant was stunned. "Are you talking about Her Highness the Princess?" Just then, Brazen also burst out laughing. Ha ha ha, this is getting more and more interesting. The greed and twisted desires of humans are truly beyond my imagination. Over with Ionet, seeing the Emperor approach, she greeted him, Father. He approached and lifted her chin, then gave a sinister smile. You truly get more beautiful every day. As expected of my daughter. This left Ionet horrified. Elsewhere, servants were cleaning. Han said, as they walked. I heard the queen passed away recently. Everyone is voluntarily wearing mourning clothes for her. Rosemary remarked, It seems the queen was truly loved by the people, wasn't she? Nearby, an announcement was being made. By order of the king, every boy aged 12 and up, from every household, must be conscripted into the army. A mother clutched her son. No, my son is still just a child, I beg you. Without another word, the soldiers seized the boy and dragged him away. The mother screamed, No, my son, Rosemary muttered. This place doesn't seem any better than the Savoy kingdom. At that moment, Han ran over to another woman to ask, What's going on over there? The woman replied, Those are captured deserters. They're about to be executed. We're constantly at war here. Everyone has grown so tired of it. No, the deserter pleaded. No, please spare me. I have a mother and a little sister at home. Russ stepped forward. You cowardly deserter. A real man dedicates his life to his country. People like this should be. The crowd also chanted, Execute him, execute him. Tears streamed down the young deserter's face. Oh gods, I beg you, please. In the next moment, it was all over. Han flinched. Good heavens, that poor young man. The people around them didn't even dare to say a word in his defense. But you can't blame them. It's mostly women and children here. Princess, this country is insane. It's too dangerous. We have to leave. Rosemary replied, Han, I told you I wanted to find the prince. The more messed up this place is, the more curious I am about the prince here. I heard the queen passed away, and the king is looking for a new bride. So this is the perfect chance to sneak into the palace, rather than just standing here feeling pity for everyone. We should just find the source of the problem. A soldier pointed. Hey, look over there. Rosemary turned away. We've already drawn attention to ourselves so fast. Han, let's go. The soldiers approached. Look here, an able-bodied man. Draft him for the army. Han immediately clung to Rosemary. Princess, save me. I don't want to go fight. Rosemary leaned in close to Han. Han, once you're in the army, don't forget to gather some intel for me, okay? See if this country has any treasures. Be careful and don't get hurt. Han fell into despair. This can't be happening, Rosemary mused. He really is an able-bodied man. A new day dawned in the kingdom of prosperous Brazil. Inside the vast and luxurious palace, the princesses stood solemnly, gathered in a corner. Rosemary was one of the princesses present in the palace that day. So the king is going to choose a new wife? I don't see him anywhere. One of the other princesses whispered a warning. Hey, quiet down. Do you want to lose your head? The other princesses began to whisper. I heard His Majesty has already chosen someone, but since we haven't received the order, we can't just leave on our own. That's right, we're just people from a vassal state if we aren't careful and offend them. Our homelands will suffer for it. Just then, a guard's announcement echoed through the grand hall of the palace. His Majesty the King and His Highness the Prince are arriving. Someone suddenly asked, Why are there so many women here? Another voice quickly replied, Have you forgotten, sire? These are the new wives prepared for you. Prince Brazen's gaze suddenly landed on someone in the crowd. Rosemary naturally looked up at him. She was well aware the man was looking her way, and the prince's expression suddenly changed. Noticing this, the king asked with concern, Rust, what's wrong? He slowly shook his head. It's nothing. I just thought I saw a vicious woman. Must have been my imagination. Seeing that there was no longer an issue, the king settled onto his throne and announced loudly, These women no longer need to stay. I now announce to all of you, I shall take my own daughter, Princess Ionet, as my wife. Upon hearing his announcement, everyone present in the palace erupted into chaos. What? Marry the princess? This is... Even Rosemary couldn't help but exclaim indignantly, That old geezer really needs to take a look in the mirror. The girl next to her hurriedly covered Rosemary's mouth. Don't talk nonsense. Do you want to die? After looking around for a moment, and not seeing Princess Ionet, he cleared his throat and shouted, Bring Princess Ionet to me! Where is Ionet? A voice rang out from the entrance. I do not agree. It was Princess Ionet. Father, I will not marry you. Her blunt refusal in front of everyone made it impossible for the king to suppress his rage. You! That on you is my Theron! You killed my Theron! Hearing the unfamiliar name, Rosemary turned to ask the girl beside her. Theron? The girl whispered the answer to her question. One of the king's favorite donkeys. It said that the donkey held a gold coin in its mouth every day. Receiving no answer or any sign of remorse from Ionet, the emperor immediately bellowed, I gave you the moon dress and the sun dress, so why would you still want to kill Heron? You're so ungrateful. Did you think I would spare you just because you made yourself look ugly? Since it's come to this, I will marry you today. Seize her. Rust let out a weary sigh. What a tough situation for a woman. Princess Ionette suddenly held a sword to her own neck and threatened, "Don't come over here! Stay away from me!" The moment she saw the sword in her hand, Rosemary vaguely recognized it as... But the king and his highness the prince were even more surprised. "The magic sword! You dare steal the sword? How did you do it?" "We're about to march to war!" "No." Ionette certainly wasn't going to submit to these people. She declared defiantly, "I've had enough. I'm taking it with me and ending it all. You all know the power of this divine sword. If any of you dare to come closer, I'll take every single one of you down with me." But at her threat, Rust's face filled with fear. "How dare you? No, don't let her blood touch the magic sword." Rosemary suddenly appeared behind Prince Brazen and held another sword to his neck. "Nobody move! Your Highness, run! I'll stay here!" Princess Ionette glanced back anxiously at the scene one last time, then slowly turned and left the chaotic palace with the magic sword in hand. Only then did Rust speak up and ask Rosemary, "This woman, have I seen you somewhere before? What do you want with me?" She answered his question in a stern voice. "Something important. Are you Prince Rust?" Since he didn't know Rosemary's true identity, he replied nonchalantly, "Of course. Who else would I be?" She pressed the sword even closer to Rust's neck. "Is that so? Liars get their heads chopped off." His voice lowered slightly. "Just what vassal state is this woman from?" This time, Rosemary didn't answer his question, and instead drew the blade across Rust's neck, making him cry out in pain. "Ah!" The continuous sound of shattering glass rang out. In a flash, she was perched on the windowsill. "Goodbye, don't miss me too much." With those words, Rosemary leaped down below and vanished in a flash of red hair. Just then, the Emperor finally came to his senses and ran over to Rust. "Rust, are you all right?" He pressed a hand to his neck to stop the blood from flowing. "I'm fine." The shallow cut stopped bleeding, but it still stung. Rust glared angrily toward the window. "That woman is so ruthless." The Emperor was worried about the extremely fierce war situation. "What are we supposed to do now? The magic sword has been stolen, and our Beagren will be torn to shreds by Iceland." Prince Brazen immediately waved his hand and ordered his soldiers to leave the red-haired girl alone. An order was immediately issued to seal the kingdom's gates and search for Princess Ionette, but elsewhere. As dusk slowly began to fall, a stern voice gave an order. "It's time for the execution again. All deserters must be beheaded. Next, bring that weak little chicken over here." Han was bound and brought to the execution ground. But he still tried to explain, "You've got the wrong person. I'm just a tourist." The guard holding Han immediately retorted, "Stop making things up, a tourist in a place like this?" Soon after, Han's head was resting on a dry wooden block, and he thought in fear about his worst possible fate. "I'm finished this time," Han shouted in a panic. "Wait, wait, I have something to say." The soldier beside him snapped contemptuously, "Shut your mouth, the condemned have no right to speak." He roared, "Die!" Hearing that, he looked absolutely terrified. "No, please," as thoughts raced through his mind. "I have to find a way to escape. What do I do? I can't die here, princess. Please hurry and save me. Is using this my only option?" Just then, Rosemary's voice rang out, "Wait, he is my servant. He's not a soldier here, so it's not your place to decide to execute him. Now aren't you going to release this poor kid?" He was so overjoyed he started crying like a child, softly calling her name, "Princess." The soldiers turned and angrily questioned her. "Who are you to interfere with an execution?" Just then, Rusty arrived carrying an edict from His Majesty the Emperor. He announced loudly, "His Majesty has issued a decree. The plan to invade the Iceland Empire is cancelled. The demon sword has been stolen. From now on, everyone's top priority is to find the demon sword and Princess Ionette. Whoever turns in Princess Ionette will be rewarded with 500 gold coins, and anyone who dares to hide her will be beheaded." After being saved from execution, Han rushed over to her and said, "Princess, I was almost beheaded." "The people here don't listen to any explanations at all." Rosemary raised her hand and asked gently, "Were you scared? Your master arrived just in time, huh?" Her hand gently caressed Han's hair, making his face flush for a moment, but he quickly composed himself right after. He stood up straight and told her seriously, "I had already heard the news and was on my way to tell you, but they caught me and thought I was a deserter." Rosemary replied carefully, "Let's find another place to talk. After all, I'm on the run." He asked confusedly, "On the run? What did you do?" She answered nonchalantly, "I slashed the prince." Soon after, as night fell, light spilled out from a large restaurant in the center of town, and a customer's voice called out, "Owner, we'll have a hearty dinner tonight." Rosemary and Han started eating ravenously, unable to stop praising how good it was. "This is so delicious," she reminded him. "Han, from now on, you're going to eat 3 proper meals a day." Lost in his food, he quickly replied, "Got it." Milena looked at them with pity. "You must be travelers from the Sativo kingdom, you poor things. It looks like you haven't had a proper meal in a long time. I'll bring you 3 more servings of cheese," Han asked in surprise. 3 servings? Why 3? Just then, the real prince cheerfully spoke up. "Thank you, beautiful lady. I love cheese more than anything, but compared to your beauty, even cheese tastes bland." The moment he saw it appear, Han jumped and yelled, "A green frog!" Rosemary turned and asked, "What are you doing here?" He let out a loud, shameless laugh. "Actually, I followed you guys all the way here, but I couldn't get into the royal palace. So I've just been waiting around here. It's fine. I don't eat much." "Hey, beautiful. Can I get another slice of that blueberry pie?" She immediately grabbed both his legs. "How about we have roasted frog for dinner tonight?" Brazen screamed in terror. "Help me! It's so hot, I'm gonna be cooked!" Just then, Han asked him, "Hey, little green frog, you said you were a prince. But Prince Rust of this kingdom is clearly inside the royal palace, so why are you lying?" Hearing this, the real prince panicked. "What? You're saying Prince Rust is in the royal palace? That's impossible, I'm the real Prince Rust!" Then where did that prince in the royal palace come from? Where should I even begin? It seems you all know about the demon sword, don't you? That's right, as long as the demon sword exists, the war in this place will never end. The demon sword may grant power, but it corrodes a person's will, making them crave power and bloodshed more and more. I witnessed my father become consumed by the demon sword's power, growing more insane by the day. My younger sister and I tried everything, but we couldn't destroy that sword. So 7 years ago, I took the demon sword into the forest, intending to throw it into a deep lake. I thought that would let it sleep forever at the bottom, but instead, I awoke the monster dwelling there. A giant black shadow shot out of the water and attacked me, and then I lost consciousness. Unless someone is willing to kiss a frog, which is me, I will never be able to turn back into a human. I was turned into a green frog, and the demon sword also vanished. She put a hand to her chin, analyzing the real prince's words. If what you're saying is true, and the demon sword is still in the royal palace, then the most likely possibility is that the current Prince Rust is actually the monster from the lake in disguise, and he has replaced you. Han immediately replied to her. "I can't believe it, the prince was replaced by a monster? Princess? Is that demon sword the treasure you're looking for?" Rosemary said in a serious tone. "I'm sure it is, but for now, I still can't remember the details related to this sword. The urgent matter right now is, we have to find Princess Ionette before that monster prince does. She must still be hiding somewhere in the city." Hearing that name, Brazen quickly cried out, "Ionette? Why are you looking for my younger sister? What happened to her?" A voice spoke up from behind them. "Are you looking for Princess Ionette?" Heh, startled, they turned around. "Why are we suddenly surrounded by so many people?" Those people shouted angrily, "Are you the king's hunting dogs? And to think I was kind enough to give you food and drink? Give it up. No one is going to tell you where the princess is. We will protect Princess Ionette. Tie them up and throw them out." Han interrupted them. "Wait, just listen to our explanation. Princess, at a time like this, you're still planning to pack up food to go?" Seeing that things were not going well, Prince Brazen actually raised his tiny foot. "Everyone, hold on, listen to me. I am the real Prince Rust. Your current prince is just an imposter. I am the true prince," the woman shouted in disbelief. "What? This green frog says he is a prince? Do you have any proof?" Brazen replied confidently. "Even if I have turned into a frog. Look, this perfect physique. My body itself is the proof." Hearing that, Rosemary, Han and the green frog were both tied up and unceremoniously thrown out. He was so dejected he felt like bursting into tears. "Why won't they believe me?" Han calmly replied. "Well, it is pretty hard to believe a frog, isn't it? Well, this is just great. Now we're homeless for the night." Just then, Rosemary happily called out to him while holding a bag of food. Han. He watched her and thought to himself, the princess is getting really good at packing up food and utensils. Before long, everyone was in a desolate forest. He said through his tears, "Ionette killed Salon and stole the demon sword. Salon was my father's most beloved pet. Why would she do something so reckless?" Rosemary chimed in to explain, "Because that wretched father of yours said he was going to make her his wife." A stunned Brazen shouted, "What? How is that possible?" "Sigh," Rosemary continued coldly. "Because your mother passed away not long ago." Han felt helpless beside her. "Princess, you could be a little more delicate about it, but the real prince just kept on crying. It is all my fault. I couldn't protect my mother or my little sister. I couldn't stop the war. I couldn't stop these tragedies from happening over and over. I am not fit to be a prince at all." Sigh. Han gently comforted the little frog. "Even if you couldn't stop it, the one person who can end all of this is right here." He replied happily, "Really? Are you talking about Princess Rosemary?" She calmly explained. "Green frog, I did not start this journey to end the tragedies of this place. Everything that has happened here is, in my eyes, something you all brought upon yourselves, but I only want to reclaim what is mine and find my lost memories, and then kill someone who must be killed." She walked softly over to him. "If you truly are the prince, I will kill you. Do not think of me as some kind of savior." The real prince looked at her and replied, "I understand, but Ionette is innocent. She should not be implicated because of me." If I can save her, I will do anything. Princess Rosemary, please, I am begging you to save Ionette. I am willing to give you my life. Now, let's seal it with a kiss, she angrily exclaimed. There's no need for that. The next morning, the sky was bright and clear. That woman irritably refused. Why are you asking about Princess Ionette? I do not know, so stop asking me, Han said in frustration. We have been looking for 2 days, and nobody wants to talk about Ionette. Everyone adores the queen and the princess, so after the queen passed away, they are even more protective of Princess Ionette. Just then, Prince Brazen shouted, This is it! This used to be my and Ionette's secret hideout. Every year we would sneak here with Mother, have a little something to eat, and then lie on the highest cliff top to watch the sky. Rosemary said hesitantly, but this place looks like it has been abandoned for a very long time. Han looked at the site in front of them. This is a dead end. Ionette would not come to a place like this, right? That is a carnation. The real prince hopped onto his shoulder and looked up to ask, Han, do you recognize this type of flower? Han replied confidently, Of course. Carnations can grow in the mountains, among the rocks, even in deserted places, as long as there is sunlight. It can also grow in crevices. It's a very resilient flower. These flowers look like they've been very well cared for. They've grown so well. I also really like this flower. Carnations symbolize a mother's love. And then, Rust emotionally held a flower. To think that in the 7 years I was gone, Ionette was still growing this flower. A scene from the past appeared in his mind. Don't be angry, don't be sad, keep a kind, gentle, and peaceful heart. A woman's gentle voice spoke. Rust, Ionette, you've grown up now, remember? A strong heart will never lose to the demon sword. Quickly, Rust quietly replied, but father said, because I am a prince, I must inherit the demon sword. This is my responsibility. Ionette exclaimed in fear. I don't want brother to inherit the demon sword. Brother will become like father, angry every single day. It's so scary. The 2 children took turns speaking. I have to destroy the demon sword. We'll definitely figure out a way. The woman gently hugged the 2 children. My beloved children, I hope you can build a homeland with no war, no sorrow, in your generation. You can definitely do it. Back in the present, he sobbed. Ionette, where on earth are you? Rosemary asked Han in surprise. You know so much about flowers? He smiled lightly. This is one of the few things I'm good at. Carnations, perhaps I can understand how the Frog Prince feels right now. If I could, I would also want to plant this flower for my mother. He placed the carnation in his hand. Immediately after, the flower was covered in a layer of hard ice. Then Han said sorrowfully, when the snowflake melts, the fresh flower will also bloom. At this time in the palace, the fake prince shouted angrily, It's been 3 days, and you still haven't found Princess Ionette. I know for a fact that someone is hiding her, he said sternly. Hiding the princess is a capital crime. His Majesty the King has given the order. From today, for every day that Princess Ionette does not appear, we will behead 1 person. At that very moment, outside the palace, soldiers were arresting a woman. She cried out in fear. Oh no. Her mother also screamed in anguish. Milena, no. Milena turned around. Mom! Tears streamed down her cheeks. From a distance, they witnessed everything. Rosemary said angrily, That old man is crazy. This is outrageous. Using such a method to pressure the people. Prince Brazen was just as furious. He shouted at the imposter. Damn it! That imposter dares to use my handsome face to do such despicable things. Han quickly called out to the real prince, Green Frog. At this moment, Rust's gaze had landed on the green frog. Oh ho, he said with amusement. Well, well, well. Why is there a frog hopping onto the execution platform? This is hilarious. Brazen's voice echoed as he shouted, You're a monster. I will expose your true face. Hearing the frog's words, everyone began to whisper, Look, that frog can talk. It's a little creepy. How can a frog talk? Braxton stood up and shouted loudly, Everyone listen to me. I'm not actually a frog. I am the real Prince Russell. As for that guy, the one you're calling Prince Rust is an imposter. He's a monster in disguise. Don't let him fool you. Rust confidently replied to the real prince, You're calling me a monster? How amusing. Between the 2 of us, a talking frog is much more like a monster. So do you really think anyone will believe you? Unable to do anything, he could only curse resentfully under his breath. Damn it, this is infuriating. At that moment, Rust ordered the soldiers to ignore that ugly thing and continue the journey. He just quietly replied, Yes, sir. Meanwhile, Milena was being tied up by the soldiers, and she screamed in fear, Ah, help! Somebody save me! Milena! A sword came flying at the speed of light, landing right beside the soldier's neck, making his face go pale with fear. Rosemary spoke, To take a strike from me and still be alive. It seems that Frog wasn't lying. Han, standing beside her, asked fearfully, Princess, why did you throw my sword? She calmly replied, What does it matter? You weren't using it anyway. Rust looked at her suspiciously. It's you. I don't usually enjoy this. using violence against a beautiful woman, but you are clearly an exception, because you've really made me incredibly angry. Red-haired woman, you're worthy of being dealt with by my own hands. A voice cried out, "Hey, that's my gun!" Han immediately stepped forward to protect her. "Princess, stay back! That's a handgun!" She asked. "A gun? Is that a weapon that uses gunpowder like a cannon?" He thought to himself, "If I use magic here, I'm afraid I'll be exposed instantly. But for the princess, I have no choice." Han's hand began to freeze over as snowflakes started to form around it. At that very moment, Princess Ionette's voice rang out. "Stop!" The sky had begun to dawn as she appeared at the execution block. "Prince Rust, aren't you the one looking for me? Do not harm innocent people. Look carefully. The demon's sword is in my hands, so come and catch me." Seeing her, Prince Brazen froze. He whispered her name, Ionette. Hearing this, Rust immediately commanded, "So you've finally shown yourself. Seize her." The soldiers answered in unison, "Sir." Seeing this, the green frog panicked. "Oh no, oh no, oh no. Little Mary, we can't let them catch Ionette. We have to go after them." Hearing him call her that, Han repeated hesitantly, "Mary?" Rosemary said to him, "Green frog, your sister is truly an amazing person." As Princess Ionette fled, the soldiers chasing after her shouted, "Princess, stop right there. Hand over the demon's sword." By then, she had reached the edge of a cliff with no way to escape. A soldier called out, "Your Highness, please hand over the demon's sword. You have nowhere else to go. We do not wish to harm you." "Boom," Ionette replied tiredly. "Soldiers, I know you are only doing this because you have no other choice. But this demon's sword must never fall back into my father's hands. I will end everything right here. This is my duty as a princess." Bang! A bullet flew right past her face. It was the fake prince who had fired. The soldiers respectfully called out, "Your Highness," he said coldly, "Ionette, you are far too rebellious. I have no need for such a disobedient sister." She raised her sword, saying resolutely, "You're a demon, and I will never let you get what you want." She placed her hand on the blade. "O demon sword, the blood of Blazing once made a pact with you." Ionette decisively pointed the sword's tip toward her neck. "I will offer my soul in exchange for a new beginning for this land." Seeing this, he furiously shouted, "No! What do you think you're doing?" A mysterious voice echoed, "Come, Ionette, raise the sword and plunge it into your throat. I thirst for your fresh blood. I covet your soul. Offer it all to me. I will grant your wish." A skeleton in a long black cloak appeared before her. Rosemary's eyes widened in surprise and fear. Rust was still screaming in a panic, "No! Look what you're doing!" The soldiers, sensing trouble, shouted to each other, "Quick, run!" The Grim Reaper continued to speak, "Ionette, come. Use the sharp tip to pierce your flesh." "No," Ionette stammered tremblingly. "No, no." She fearfully aimed the sword. "Don't come over here." At that moment, Rosemary came to her side and whispered in her ear, "You did very well. Don't be afraid. Leave the rest to me." Ionette was surprised. "It's you?" Rosemary's eyes stared resolutely at the sword. "I remember now, the compass of time." She decisively pointed the sword at the Grim Reaper, shouting in a powerful voice, "Stand back, god of death, monster lurking in the shadows. You may be able to take lives, but you can never control time." A strong flash of light erupted. He gradually disappeared before her eyes. Watching the scene unfold, Ionette asked with a trembling voice, "Who in the world are you? Why does the demon's sword obey you?" Before Rosemary could answer, Rust spoke up. "All right, woman, you've caused enough chaos. Hurry up and give me the demon's sword," she replied coldly. "To you?" In the tales told by dreamers and villains, anything out of the ordinary always has a special craving for a virgin's blood. And so, pure maidens were written into the stories, and those stories then turned into legends. The outcome is usually the maiden sacrificing herself, while the majority of people are saved, and people call such women saints, and they are praised endlessly. But maidens, open your eyes and see. She powerfully swung the sword to the sky, proclaiming, "We are the masters of time." The false prince panicked at the sight before him, and he exclaimed, "What? Move, I can't move." Rans and the soldiers were petrified, standing motionless as time itself had frozen. But a flash of panic appeared in his eyes. "Why can you also use this sword? Damn it." Just then Han ran over, calling out, "Princess!" The green frog on his shoulder also called to his sister, Ionette. The real prince joyfully hopped over to Princess Ionette. "Ionette, are you okay? You've grown up." She hesitated and said softly, "You." He jumped into the princess's hand. She asked joyfully, "Brother Brazen, is that you? Why did you turn into a frog?" The green frog replied happily, "My dear sister, you actually recognized me." Han observed his surroundings and hesitantly spoke to Rosemary. "What's wrong with everyone here? It seems like they can't move," she explained. "Their time has been stopped." "That is the power of this demon sword. Han, tie up all those executioners for me. I have to make a trip back to the royal palace." A silent night enveloped the palace. At that very moment, the emperor, sitting on his throne, cried out in alarm, "What do you want? Don't come near me with that demon sword. How did it end up in your hands?" His face was a clear picture of panic. "Stay away from me, guards," the two soldiers answered in fear, "but the demon sword is in her hands. We can't do anything." Rosemary held the sword in her hand and spoke calmly. "Your Majesty the King, the time has come for you to accept your judgment. Everyone is waiting for you." The next morning, the people stood before the scaffold chattering. "What is happening? Is it another execution? Who is being killed today?" "Please don't let it be Princess Ionette," a voice shouted. "Princess Ionette brought the emperor and the fake prince." "Look there, it's Princess Ionette. She's all right." On that day, Ionette cast off her donkey skin, wearing a dress as radiant as the sun, and stood before the execution ground. "Everyone, today I want to tell you the truth. As for Kakata Rust, when he destroyed the demon sword, he was cursed into a frog by the demon sword's monster, and the current prince is that monster transformed." A woman spoke up. "Princess Ionette said so too, so it must be true." Another person added, "No wonder Prince Rust's personality changed so much. He used to only care about being surrounded by beautiful women." Han crossed his arms grimly, and as for this old man, he screamed, "People of my nation! This woman is out of her mind. You absolutely must not believe what she says. Hurry up and release me." Hearing him say that, the people looked on uncomfortably and said nothing. The emperor angrily exclaimed, "Say something. After all the years I've led armies to conquer far and wide, are you not grateful to me? And what about the soldiers? The soldiers, just like the people, silently watched his display. No one spoke up for him. He cursed in a rage. "How dare you?" Princess Ionette tearfully recounted. "My mother, Queen Corona, discovered that Prince Rust had been replaced by a monster. She spoke to the king, and was then locked in the tower for 5 years, until she died from her illness." Overwhelmed with emotion, she screamed furiously, "Ah, unforgivable." Brazen, beside her, also said resolutely, "That's right, unforgivable." The people grew furious when they heard this. "What? The queen died because of him too? How despicable. He is not worthy to be king." Joseph Marie, wearing a ceremonial gown like moonlight, stood beside Ernest. She asked, "So, how do all of you think he should be punished?" The people shouted in unison, "Off with his head! Off with his head! He was forced onto the chopping block." "What? Are you all mad? Release me! Soldiers, save me!" However, the soldiers also sided with the people, raising their hands and shouting, "Off with his head! Off with his head!" The emperor was stunned. "Why? I was wrong. Please save me. Rest assured, even if you've turned into a frog, the throne is still yours. I won't pay any mind to that monster anymore." Hearing this, the real prince questioned him in return. "You knew Rust was an imposter, didn't you? You knew perfectly well he wasn't your son." At this, Brazen felt a wave of sadness. "But why would you rather have a monster for a son than search for me, your real son?" His eyes glinted with a fiery red light. "Do you even need to ask? Even the monster Rust is more capable and more agreeable than you. As long as he supports me and can succeed me, what does it matter if he's a monster? It's all because you are a person with no ambition. Why, you worthless thing that only knows how to please women?" A loud crack echoed as the blade fell, severing his head from his body. But Rosemary casually said, "My hand slipped." Han was helpless, while the real prince turned to comfort his sister Ionette. "Don't be afraid." The people cheered happily. "All right, wonderful. The king is finally dead. Avenge the queen, for our husbands and children, for Brazen." Then Rosemary turned to look at the fake prince. "And now, it's this monster prince's turn. Han, seize him." Everyone shouted, "Die, monster! Die, monster! Off with his head!" So, the fake prince saw this, and hurriedly said, "Wait, Redhead, I remember you. Are you the one who was by the master's side? The one he could never forget? The immortal princess, so it was you?" She moved closer to him. "You know him? Good then, I'm very curious. Slitting your throat couldn't kill you, so if I chop off your head, will you die?" But his eyes showed a hint of panic. "Execute him." Immediately after, the fake prince laughed loudly. "Oh, immortal princess, even if you kill me, you can't change Angel's fate. You're the one who got them killed. You should be chopping off your own head. And my master is the supreme god. A mere mortal like you is fundamentally unworthy of him." As soon as he finished speaking, she swung her sword down, ending his life, and the fake prince's head flew some distance away. The people cheered. "For Prince Rust, for Brazen. The fake prince is dead too. This is great." Ionette danced joyfully with Rust. "Oh my gosh. I've finally waited for this day. Brother, welcome back." Han looked at Rosemary with concern. "Princess, are you all right?" "Don't pay any mind to his words. I believe what happened with Angel wasn't your fault." Rosemary replied, "I'm fine. He was right. Although I'm not the one to blame, it's hard to escape the guilt. But everything will have to wait until my journey is over. I am only taking back what was stolen from me." A voice mimicked her words. "Thump!" Rosemary turned around in surprise as footsteps approached her. Oh, red-haired princess. In front of her was the tightly bound, headless body. Did you think you could kill me like this? The crowd panicked. Oh my god, he's not dead. He has no head, but he's still talking. A monster. Run. This is terrifying. Rosemary's eyes widened. What is going on? I clearly already. The fake prince laughed loudly. Didn't expect that, did you? Ha ha ha. People don't just have one head, you know. Now, Brazen screamed. Ah, what are you doing with that perfect face and that perfect body? So disgusting. Seeing the two of them vomiting their guts out, Rosemary was also speechless. You two. Now, Rosemary turned to the fake prince, her voice low. That's enough of an act, monster. Show me your true form. A plume of black smoke appeared, and the fake prince finally revealed his true form. Very good, very good. I will have my revenge, red-haired princess. I will not forgive you. The next time we meet, I will definitely deal with you. With that, he flew away. Ionette turned to her brother and said, Brother, the monster at the bottom of the lake is a three-headed dragon. Brazen replied, That's right. That was him. Don't go, don't go. What about my curse? Hurry up and break my curse. I don't want to be a green frog anymore. A while later. Are you sure it flew in this direction? Where did it go? A monster that big, and injured too. It couldn't have gotten far. There's water. Han, go get some water. No. Let me do it. Last time you dropped the golden ball into the lake. This time you might just throw yourself in. Han hesitated. Sorry. Now, Rosemary turned to the green frog. You owe me a favor. I want you to compensate me with 10 days of lavish royal banquets and another gun. Ionette laughed. Not a problem. I'll arrange it. Brazen asked Rosemary curiously. You want a six-shooter again? Don't you already have the magic sword? Rosemary said, I'm very interested in this type of small, light weapon that can shoot from a distance. Although the magic sword is very powerful, some powers shouldn't be overused. So Brazen then demanded, Then as promised, give me a kiss, so we don't have to keep messing around with that monster. Han, who was nearby, immediately spoke up. Little green frog, I think you should drop that idea. The princess isn't going to kiss you. Then Rosemary explained, A kiss has no inherent meaning. It's human emotions that give it meaning. If I have no feelings for you, then even kissing you 100 times would have no effect. That's right, Ionette agreed. She's right. You absolutely shouldn't do that to a girl, especially not right in front of her knight. Han blushed. Ah, you've misunderstood. I'm not the princess's special someone. No, Ionette said doubtfully. You're not? But you two seem so close, I just assumed. Brazen asked, Are you serious? Then what about me? Ionette complained. You're such a player. If you hadn't turned into a green frog, you would have been caught and beaten up by the girls here long ago. Brazen worried. No way. Are they still looking for me? Just then, the lake's surface suddenly stirred, and behind Rosemary, a tail suddenly shot up. Rosemary immediately turned around, but both girls were quickly restrained and then dragged underwater. Everything happened so fast that Han and Brazen couldn't do a thing. Damn it, it's that monster. He was hiding in the water. Han's face went pale. This is bad. The princess will. If she's underwater... Rust laughed loudly. Ha ha ha. Even though you have the magic sword, you were bound to let your guard down. This is my home turf now, so just go ahead and drown at the bottom of this lake. Rosemary was sinking into the lake, but she quickly calmed down and opened her eyes. Rosemary used the sword in her hand to slash at Rust. Rust screamed in pain. Ah, no, my head! Rosemary quickly swam towards Ionette. She reached out for Ionette, calling silently, Ionette! Just then, Rosemary noticed something was wrong. What? Why is my body turning into sea foam? Rosemary said calmly. Even though you're just a head now. Exactly, that's right, Rust replied. Red-haired princess, you have a fatal weakness. You're afraid of water, Rosemary asked in surprise. I'm afraid of water? On the day of a full moon, the beautiful little princess was like a rose. After the mages had all given their blessings, the uninvited witch broke into the palace. She screamed in the middle of the great hall. How dare you? How dare you deceive me? Did you think that by hiding here, I wouldn't find you? I will curse her. I will curse your child. The little princess will die. After pricking her finger on a spindle at the age of 56, in this life and the next, you and your descendants will never be able to return to the water. Everyone fell into a panic. Although the witch was quickly driven away by the mages, the curse could not be undone. At that moment, the youngest mage stepped forward. He had not yet given his blessing to the princess. Power radiated from his hand. The princess will not die after pricking her finger. She will only fall into a deep sleep. 100 years later, a prince will awaken her with true love's kiss. But the self-righteous little magician saved the princess's life, and at the same time, took it upon himself to decide her fate. Hearing this, Rosemary had a ridiculous thought. The king and queen immediately ordered all the spinning wheels in the kingdom to be burned. The king told everyone that our princess didn't need to learn how to weave, but the princess fell in love with a man. He froze time and promised her eternal love. In a dream where time would stand still, he would live with her as a prince in a dream kingdom, and the naive princess was captivated by his beauty. She shyly agreed. The foolish princess believed his lies and reached her finger towards the point of the spindle. Dark red blood fell upon the snow-white sheets. Her time and everything else stopped, and the queen's face appeared. "My child, do you regret it?" Rosemary replied, "I regret it immensely, but I can only move forward." Seeing her in the water, he worriedly called out Princess Rosemary. He immediately jumped into the water, trying to reach her, and as their hands touched, Russell screamed, "A mere attendant, and you think you can save someone?" He held Rosemary and unleashed a blast of power towards Russell. He cried out in anger, and then was frozen solid. The real prince also jumped in. "Ionette, Ionette, hang on, your big brother is here to save you." He tried to pull her dress up with his mouth. Seeing his sister's fading face, Bradnet cursed himself. Damn it, damn it. Why did I turn into a frog? I've already lost my mother, Ionette. I can't lose you too. Suddenly, the ring on her hand emitted a burst of light. His eyes teared up from the bright light, and as it faded, it revealed the girl, swimming over. It was Ionette. The green frog swam to her, and the two of them happily embraced. By this time, Han had also brought Rosemary to the shore. She lay exhausted on the grass, and he asked with concern, "Princess, are you all right?" Rosemary answered softly, "I'm fine." Han quickly added, "Wait for me. I'm going to save Princess Ionette." Bradnet spoke up. "Princess Ionette has been saved." She collapsed onto the grass, crying out softly, "What's happening?" He looked at his hand in surprise, his own, stammering, How have I turned back?" Princess Ionette joyfully shouted, "Big brother." Han and Rosemary's eyes widened, staring in shock at the man before them. Han exclaimed. Princess Ionette said joyfully, "Big brother, you've changed back." Bradnet called her name. "Ionette, I'm not a frog anymore." Rosemary thought to herself, his body is completely normal. What in the world just happened? She asked, "What about that monster?" Han replied softly, "It escaped, only its head is left, so it doesn't have much power anymore." Rosemary said in alarm, "Han, what's wrong with your hand? It looks like it's frozen." "No," he denied it fearfully. "No, it's nothing. The water was so cold that everything just froze. This is bad. I think I'm going to be found out this time." Then, Bradnet approached and took Rosemary's hand. He said softly, "Hello, my savior, my love. My moon, my love." He placed a gentle kiss on her hand. "Thank you, my little Rosemary. It seems I wasn't wrong. You are the one destined for me." However, Rosemary immediately pulled her hand away. "Don't get handsy. Looks like you've got a temper. How about you turn back into a frog?" Bradnet cried out. "Ow, ow, 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 my handsome face is going to be ruined." On a sunny afternoon in the kingdom, a woman opened her arms and called to her son, Elio. The little boy ran over happily. "Mommy." The two of them hugged happily, and the mother said, moved to tears, "Oh, it's so good you're back. Thank you everyone." Princess Ionette and Brazen joyfully watched the scene before them. Then the two of them went to the late queen's tomb. Ionette said, "I actually realized a long time ago, that person wasn't you. She was always looking for you. And she wanted to tell Father so many times that he was an imposter, but Father despised her and locked her away in the high tower." He turned and asked, "How did you get the sword?" "The demon sword is normally heavily guarded." She replied cheerfully, "I used Saran's hide, and then I wrapped the sword in it. The guards just thought I was taking Saran for a walk. When they came looking for me, I had already crawled into a farmer's stable and pretended to be a donkey. Anyway, it worked perfectly. It was a little cruel having to kill Saran, but he was just a donkey after all. There was nothing I could do." Then, Brazen placed his hand on the tombstone and said hesitantly, "Mother, I'm sorry I'm so late." Han turned to Rosemary and said, "Let's give them a moment alone. He's been gone for 7 years, they must have a lot to talk about." But then, Rosemary voiced her question. "Han, did you already know that I was afraid of water? You knew there was a monster under the water, but you still jumped in to save me. Have we met before?" He blushed. "Princess, we met a very long time ago. You just don't remember me. You couldn't even walk then." "Ah," Rosemary suddenly realized. "In other words, you're from the underwater kingdom of eternal life? I thought I saw your hand freeze. Was I just seeing things?" Han replied softly, "I wandered here from the land of the immortals. I was lucky the princess took me in, or I might have starved to death on the road. Anyway, I'm just glad you're safe. I've been a fool since I was little. My older brothers are all more exceptional than me. Besides staying by the princess's side, I don't know what else I'm good for." "I see," Rosemary said with curiosity. "The kingdom of eternal life. I'll go there sooner or later. I'll come visit your homeland. That kingdom rumored to be eternal." A thought crossed his mind. "Right, I'll have to face it sooner or later." Han replied, "I will go with you," Rosemary asked. "So, what's the next country?" He thought for a moment before replying, "For the next country, How about we go to the neighboring Izealand Empire? Prince, Russ will be there to sign a peace treaty. She replied, in that case, we should probably say our goodbyes to Brazen. Not far away, Princess Ionette teased. Brother, what are you staring at? Do you like Princess Rosemary? He said, flustered. Ionette? An image of the beautiful and strong woman flashed before his eyes. Brazen admitted, of course I like her, but that flower is too radiant. I'm not worthy of her. As night fell, in the forest, the wounded monster cursed angrily. Damn it, that redhead is still alive. I need to rest up, then I'll find that redhead and settle the score. Just then, the Grim Reaper walked lightly across the water's surface. Seeing him, the monster exclaimed happily, Master, you're one step too late. Everything was going smoothly, but then the red-haired woman showed up. She stole the clock hand and slashed me into this state. Her servant can even use magic, the monster raged. I had already pulled her underwater. I was so close to killing her. Master, save me! Next time I swear I'll... Before the monster could finish, the Grim Reaper stepped on it. When he lifted his foot, the monster was crushed to a pulp beneath him, his deadly gaze reflecting the image of a man. It was Han, he said coldly. So it was you. Thanks for watching today's video. Our story is far from over, with many exciting developments still to come. So don't forget to like and subscribe to support us and to not miss out on the latest chapters. We hope you have a relaxing and fun time. See you in the next video, and thanks for watching.